Last time on What If Goku Was in the Avatar World. Raditz, the brother of Goku, came through Earth. Goku was killed by Raditz, but through the effort of Azula and Aang, Raditz was easily beaten. Goku was also just beaten because he believed that his brother would leave Earth and not harm anyone. When Raditz died, he announced the arrival of two more Saiyans, far stronger than him. Aang asked Azula to come with him and they would go to the library. In there, the White Lotus movement, which includes Patik in this timeline, was asked to train Katara, Sokka, Toph, Zuko, Azula, Mei, Ty Lee, Zuki, Gohan, Lin, and Bumi, who would all become defenders of Earth, while Aang teleported himself through his higher spiritual awareness to the other worlds. What will happen next? Find out in this part of What If Goku Was in the Avatar World. What if Goku was in the Avatar World? Aang and Goku received the training of King Kai. While Goku had an easier time with the gravity than Inochiel due to his Saiyan heritage and the techniques of Toph, such as gravity bending, Aang had an easier time to perfectionate the techniques, such as the Spirit Bomb. Aang would be able to stack the Kaioken with his avatar state, which would increase his power as well. Now his avatar state would have a multiplier of 20 due to the knowledge of King Kai and the connection with the other worlds. Goku and Aang would also ask King Kai what they could do in case their friends would die, and King Kai explained them what the Dragon Balls were and where they could find them. With Aang's increased knowledge and spirituality, he would eventually figure out the location of Namek, as Namek would possess a very specific aura. As we found out in Dragon Ball Super, Namek indeed and the Namekians came from another race above, so yes, it's still kinda a mystery, so let's just go on with it like this. Aang could go Kaioken times 5, while Goku would be able to go Kaioken times 10, and he would also be able to perform the Spirit Bomb, but not completely. Azula, during the training, she would form a similar bond with Gohan as Gohan did with Piccolo. While Bumi would have a bond with Uncle Sokka and Lin would share a bond with her aunt Katara. The members of the White Lotus movement congratulated the extended team Avatar and told them that they should try to mimic certain strengths of the other elements, even if they are not part of the usual elements which they can bend. Patik would explain them how the Ki Blast of Goku showed that the separation of the four elements, it was just an illusion. This training, it would help all our heroes, and even the kids. Now, speaking about power levels, and also about certain capacities, let's start with Goku. The power levels, they would be like this. Goku would be at around 40,000, with a Kaioken times 10, he would of course have a multiplier of 10, and he would also have a knowledge a little bit of the Spirit Bomb. Aang would be a little bit behind, but he could stack his avatar state at a times 20 and a Kaioken times 5, and he would have a complete mastery over the Spirit Bomb. He could even use the energy from the Spirit World, which would make the Spirit Bomb far deadlier, and he could only do so if he would be in his avatar state, but this would be kinda complicated to pull off, as the avatar state and the Spirit Bomb, they would both take a huge mental toll on his head. Azula, she would be far behind both of them, but she would have a very good power level. She would be at 4500, with many techniques that could amplify her strength and even multiply it. Let's also not forget that when firebending, it's maybe not as good as ki bending, but it doesn't take away much of the energy, so that's a very good thing. Tough, she would be at around 4000 with a gravity bending of ×5. Zuko, I will put him at 2400. Zuko, he wouldn't rise so much in power due to the fact that he was Fire Lord and he needed to do other things. Sokka, well, Sokka would also be at around the same power level, but he would use the Spirit Sword. Katara would be at 2100, but she would be much more powerful if it wasn't for Kaya. Yes, Katara, she got pregnant also during that time, just before Aang went, and she would have to keep an eye on Kaya. Zuki would be at 2000, but with Ty Lee's key block attacks. These key attacks with the fans, she could also perform those, and she would be at, let's say, 2500 without heavy clothing. So Suki would have a lot of potential, and I think she wouldn't be a bad fighter at all. Ty Lee would be also at around the same power level of 2000. She could effectively block opponents even stronger than her, and she would have a speed that would be as fast or even maybe faster than Azula's. She would become one of the strongest spiritually aware fighters. But this doesn't mean that she is the strongest, only that she's one of the most aware. Lin, for a child, she would be at 1600, that's not bad. She would have a defensive earthbending style, she would have a lot of strength, and she would have key attacks. Gohan, he would evolve differently. Gohan would be around 1400, but he would have more offensive key attacks, mimicking the firebending of Azula and also the might and also how she wants to overpower her enemies. Well, Gohan, despite being a shy boy, he would learn a lot from it, make very useful attacks from it. He would have the physical strength as well, but his earthbending would be a little bit lacking. So his earthbending would be more of a supporter style, while mostly key attacks would be the way to go for him. Mei, she would be at around 1000. She could kinda be like the Yajirobe in here, but let's just say that she could throw good weapons. She would know how to throw sharp objects through key ability and key attacks, and she would also have some knowledge about Ty Lee's key block attacks, but I don't really think that Mei, even in such a dangerous situation, she would become a fighter. Then Bumi, the child of Aang and Katara, Bumi would be at around 800, and he would use also a Spirit Sword. The White Lotus movement would tell them to relax for some days, and once they feel the presence close to Earth of the Saiyans, of course, they should reassemble to that place. Katara, she revived Goku after Aang told her to do so through telepathy. Remember, she had that special water still. Nappa and Vegeta arrived on Earth, and they would be there, and well, they were surprised. They would be greeted by a bunch of fighters. Mei, she would appear much later. "Where is Kakarot?" Nappa asked Vegeta if he could have some fun with those maggots. But Vegeta told him to calm down, Nappa. And where's Kakarot? Ha! He's probably hiding, Vegeta. He will come, don't worry. And also the Avatar is on our side, the master of the 4 elements. Azula would tell them to get off of this planet, and if they were just looking for trouble, they should just go away. And after all, she is the princess of the Fire Nation. "Oh well, I see we have royals in here," said Vegeta curiously. Zuko also explained them that under his authority as Fire Lord, he offers them to leave peacefully or to get punished. Vegeta, as the Prince of all Saiyans, would refuse, of course, because he was itching for a fight. Is that so? Said Vegeta. Get those Cybermen out, Nappa. There should still be 10 left. They will do. And to be honest, those Cybermen, they would be defeated very quickly. Azula would take care of her Cybermen instantly, and also of Gohan's because he would still be a little bit more afraid. Toph, she would just crush her Cybermen. Sokka and Bumi would use the Spirit Sword, but Katara would get frustrated and kill the remaining Cybermen by draining their liquids away. Nappa and Vegeta, they would be really astonished. If you hurt one of us, this is going to happen to you. Katara was very serious. Nice. I see you Earthlings or Benders are not that pathetic as I initially thought. Oh, Vegeta, let me have some fun with them. Sure, Nappa, just go ahead. Nappa would attack Sokka at first, much to the anger of Suki, who would use some cool moves with her fans, taking Nappa off guard. Haha, that tickles. He then kicked Suki aside, making Sokka angry, who would be joined by Bumi. Let's defeat this meanie Uncle Sokka. Both would attack Nappa with their key swords, but Nappa would dodge the attacks with ease and then kick them away. Katara would try to freeze Nappa with one of her attacks, but Vegeta told him to move aside. Katara then tried to surprise Nappa with some water bending tricks, where she absorbed water from the soil, plants and even her own sweat, and formed tiny icicles that she threw on him, powered up by some of her ki energy or life force. Nappa would do his two-finger beam, destroying a lot of the area. Toph then joins the fight with Lin, and Toph would use gravity bending, making Nappa wonder why he can't move that fast anymore, and Toph would then smile while Lin, she would then throw rocks at Nappa. Nappa would go full power, breaking from the gravity bending, but get chi-blocked for a bit. Gohan would then send Nappa flying away with a kick similar to Azula's, and well, Vegeta would grow a bit worried, and he was thinking of a plan. When are you joining the fight, big boy? Asked Azula. Don't worry, soon enough. I just want to get to know Kakarot, but it seems he won't come yet. Ty Lee thought that Nappa would stay paralyzed for a longer time, but he managed to break free. And then he killed Ty Lee, much to the shock of the group. Nappa then got serious and angry, and went to his next targets, Suki and Sokka, before moving his eyes to Gohan, but Azula would jump in and protect him, almost dying due to Nappa's attack, and Zuko would get angry, because nobody should attack his sister like this, and almost beat Nappa with a ki blast redirection on him. Zuko would use the same tactic or same technique that his uncle did, but through the deeper understanding of how the four elements work and the ki energy of Guru Patik, he would be able to redirect the ki blast. Zuko's fire would also suddenly change, and he got a huge rage boost, making him as strong as Nappa. Vegeta then sends with his scouters Goku and Aang, and they had suppressed power levels of over 10,000. Oh, it's over 10,000! He would then create an artificial moon, and both Nappa and Vegeta would become giant apes. That's what Goku did, said Katara. Katara, she then tried to bloodbend and asked Toph's help. Toph would use her gravity bending together with Katara's bloodbending, and Nappa and Vegeta could move but with difficulties. Zuko, Azula and the kids would use attacks, but the damage wouldn't be that strong and it wouldn't be enough. Nappa, in a moment of real anger and rage, would use a mouth beam, and it would obliterate Azula. Mai, she would then show up, and Nappa's tail would be cut. Zuko, in a quick moment, would go towards him and kill Nappa without any mercy. And this is what happens when you mess around with the Fire Nation. And then suddenly Goku and Aang arrived. Someone is late to the party, Kakarot! Goku and Aang would then fight Vegeta and beat him, with Bumi cutting his tail off and hugging his father. Goku and Aang wouldn't kill Vegeta. Goku because he wanted to fight him again, and Aang for his ideology. Goku would then ask Vegeta why he came here, and Vegeta would tell him the story about the Saiyans and Frieza. Aang would then try to read Vegeta's mind, and he saw something inside of him that indeed this person could be redeemed, and actually Vegeta didn't choose to become a killer, but he was forced to do so under Frieza, and he also had other issues as well. Our heroes would also force Vegeta to show them where planet Namek is for the Dragon Balls. Goku, Vegeta, Katara and Gohan would go to Namek by using the space pods. Raditz's space pod, Nappa's space pods and also Goku's space pod. They would all be used, as well as Vegeta using his own space pod. Goku would go because he wanted to revive his auntie, Azula. Katara wanted to revive Sokka and Suki, while Goku was the strongest whom they could send to keep Vegeta in check. Katara would also be able to heal Goku, Gohan and perhaps Vegeta. Aang would tell Goku that once he lands on Namek, he should explode in power so that he could teleport in there. What will happen next? Will Goku, Vegeta, Katara and Gohan arrive on Namek without any problems? Are the Dragon Balls in there real? And will the Namekians help them? What about Frieza? Will he actually go to Namek, and will Aang be able to teleport in there? And that's where we leave it for now.